welcome to another race review, this time of Zwift Unlocked Stage 5, 450 to 570 ZRS on Double Borough in the New York expansion. 17.9 kilometers, 2 small climbs, 1 official KOM, so should be fairly spicy. Definitely the latter half of the race. Kind of expecting the pace to be quite high but comfortable up until that point, and then the possibility of some attacks, breakaways, some interesting stuff going on there. So before today I've done a couple of workouts, done the TTT ZRL, feeling fairly tired. Didn't get a warm-up at all in this race either, so it's kind of just going for the top half. Wasn't expecting to win, but kind of see how it went. So as we can see, kind of just going through the motions, using this first couple of kilometers just to do kind of some openers for the legs, really, just to get going, get warmed up. And nothing's really happening here. What I quite like to do, I've only gone down this a few times, is just to put a little bit of effort right at the bottom when it goes flat again. I didn't really need to there, but you kind of really get some momentum forward, especially if you're slipping back at that point. And again, the ramp back up on the other side. Now, I was putting down quite a lot of power on the way back up. I've never done this in a race. I've only done it on a workout, so I've not really experienced those ramps at all. However, Craig, a fellow tribe member that was in this race as well, actually said that the best thing to do is to kind of go early and then just ride the rest up and not put too much power at the top. So I'm going to try that next time. So again, just kind of going through the motions here, a few very small attacks, and this is where we see our first attack. Now the interesting thing here is that that chap there is racing what looks like a mountain bike, which is a bit strange, and there's a reason why I mentioned that, because we'll see this guy again later. Now this is the first breakaway, and I was kind of mulling it over for a minute whether I chased this, and then you can see there's kind of 6 or 7 people there, so I think as that kind of group builds, you know, the chances of that being successful gets higher. So I just think, right, I'm going to go for it. I get quite close quite quickly. You can see maybe everybody's just kind of woken up and chasing that down. Everybody's just using draft, and then we close this back up again. Now we're just coming up to a point where I'll just point this guy out again. Now I'm not saying he's done anything weird, I just don't know if it's a bug in Zwift, because we'll just zoom in now. Same guy, but he's now on drop bars, and it looks like he's on a canyon or something, but really strange. So I don't know if that's a new bug, just to do with the skin of the person, or he's managed to change his bike without stopping, which would be very impressive. One way or the other, bit strange. So I just kind of thought I'd point that out. So this was obviously the worrying bit. A lot of people that I've talked to or seen comments about, everybody's getting dropped on the climbs on here, or just can't keep up with the pace on the bridge. So I just thought, well, this is where the effort's going to have to be. This one and kind of the official KOM, and the climb in a little while as well, but slightly shorter. So I get halfway up, just put about 5 watts per kilo down, kind of see everything slowing down a bit. My legs are hurting at this point, lack of warm-up, not brilliant. I think if we learn anything from this is just do a warm-up, even if it's only 10 minutes. So literally on the bike, 3 minutes to go to get this fit into to my lunch break. So at this point, last bit of an effort. I make some pretty awful faces, I've realised. Last bit of an effort just to get over the top, and by this point I kind of know I'm good and start to ease up a little bit. Not to put too much down. I may actually come second on the KOM, which is quite nice considering the factors at play. I'm hurting at this point pretty badly, so I'm not quite sure where to use this aero. I should have maybe used it a little bit earlier in the lead up to this climb, but I thought if I can just get a bit of momentum, I can get off the front and then kind of just nicely drift back. And it kind of worked quite well, really. Just having to maintain, you know, kind of 4 watts per kilo, a couple of surges. Kind of went back a little bit too far for my liking at this point. So just put some effort down, stayed with that front group, and then we're again back at the top. Kind of just wished at this point that a few more people would have dropped off. There's still maybe 20-25 people in this group. I know I'm not going to compete on the sprint, not in the condition that I was in. And this is where that attack happened. And it's kind of where I was anticipating an attack. I thought it might happen on the climb itself, just someone absolutely going for it, but it happened at the top, just trying to take advantage of people, maybe trying to just get a bit of a breather. But again, the group's too big. They don't appear to commit. I try and chase it down just on the off chance, and then we all kind of roll back in again. Really just back on the flats. At this point, no one's really going to do anything unless someone's really got the legs for it. It's just going to be a sprint finish. So we come up to the ramp on the other side, so we've got a kilometre to go. The pace of this race was a lot less than I kind of thought it was. By this point I was kind of confident that the pace, you know, a few grimaces there, but the pace of the race was surprisingly comfortable. You know, I could have done that for a while, but I was still fatigued enough, you know, that my legs were burning enough that I thought, right, trying to do a really good sprint here is not going to happen, and this is maybe where I made a mistake using my aero. I felt like I'm falling back, so I used my aero at this point and then never really used it to much effect. I should have just really tried to put the effort down as much as I could, and maybe what I should have done is actually maybe just do sort of 350 watts for a minute, rather than trying to, you know, do a 30-second effort or 15-second effort at the end. And I'm trying my best here. I just don't have it at this point. Whether it's just fatigue in the legs, whether it's you know, workouts. Yesterday, just no. So kind of annoyed with myself, but you know, still did pretty well. I think I came 12th. Overall, 11th on Zwift Power and Zwift Racing, and I was predicted 19th. So, you know, considering I was feeling a bit tired from the week anyway, had no warm-up, I think it was quite successful really. So I think really the big lesson of this one is just to is really just to get that warm-up in, which I'm terrible at. I think everybody else is as well. Power numbers here, nothing particularly amazing, just a run-of-the-mill kind of race. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that quick race review. Some interesting things. I don't know if that was a bug halfway through. I'm sure he wasn't cheating or anything like that. He actually came 20th, I think, in the end. But who knows? Okay, see you on the next one.